The Senate will be on the 11th order of business and having a consideration for final passage, Senate Bill 2278.
Senate Bill 2278, a bill for an act to amend sections of the North Dakota Century Code relating to the discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation.
Senator Fiebiger.
Mr. President, Senate Bill 2278 is a bill that relates to discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation. The bill amends sections of the code to include sexual orientation with the other bases that North Dakota currently prohibits against discrimination. Now, the current state of the law in North Dakota is that citizens are not protected from discrimination based on their sexual orientation. Testimony at the hearing that we had revealed that at the present time, North Dakota citizens who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender can be fired from their jobs and forced to move out of their homes or apartments because of their sexual orientation. There is no state or federal law to prevent that from happening. Section 1 of the bill references that it is the policy of our state to prohibit discrimination against its citizens on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, national origin, age, mental or physical disability status with regard to public assistance. What this bill does is add sexual orientation to those groups of citizens prevented from being discriminated against. Testimony at our hearing revealed that this amounts to approximately 4 to 5% of the citizens of our state. The bill in front of you prevents sexual orientation in employment, housing, credit, insurance, public accommodations, public services, and insurance. Testimony revealed that there's a reason that approximately 90% of the Fortune 500 companies include sexual orientation in their company handbook and protect it is because it's good for business. These companies want to avail themselves of the best and the brightest, no matter what their sexual orientation. Testimony also revealed that our neighbor state to the east offers protection from discrimination based on sexual orientation. In fact, approximately 52% of the citizens in our country now enjoy protections against sexual discrimination based on their being gay, lesbian, or bisexual. And about 37% of our citizens in the country live in states who offer protection to transgender citizens. This bill will not provide North Dakota citizens special rights because of their sexual orientation. North Dakota is an employment at will state, and we still are. You can be fired for any reason not prohibited by law. That won't change. If someone's not doing their job or habitually tardy or doesn't get along with people, they can still be fired, whether gay, lesbian, or straight. What employers can't do under this law is fire someone because they're gay. We had discussion about the rights of landlords. There were concerns about are we going to tell people who they can rent to and who they can rent their home to. Well, no, we aren't. The North Dakota Fair Housing Act already has an existing exemption under North Dakota Century Code Section 1402.509. And this is an exemption for landlords who own 3 single-family homes or less and live in one, or own 4-unit buildings or less and live in one. Importantly, the bill does not restrict First Amendment religious rights of our citizens. The amendments address those concerns of the opponents of the bill, and it recognizes that First Amendment right of religious organizations to limit employment and volunteers to individuals who are of the same religion or who adhere to the religion's tenets. This would include pastors, youth workers, Sunday school teachers, parochial school teachers, counselors. The bill also does not prohibit a religious organization from limiting access or admission to its places of worship or its parochial schools to individuals of the same religion or who adhere to the religion's tenets. Our committee discussion revealed that the bill also will not require Boy Scouts in North Dakota to hire gays or lesbians as leaders. There's a Supreme Court case from 2000 where the court ruled that private expressive associations such as youth organizations like the Boy Scouts have a constitutional right to select their leaders, and that the First Amendment right trumps any applicable non-discrimination laws. So, Mr. President, the Senate Judiciary Committee gave this bill, Senate Bill 2278, a due pass as amended, and we would ask for this body's full concurrence. And if it please the President, I'd like to continue with a brief floor discussion regarding this, separate from the floor carry. If I might continue.
Yes.
Mr. President, this bill is also about the Bismarck grandmother who came forward. She's been married 51 years, has 3 children, one of whom is a lesbian. And she told her story of her daughter who did not choose to be a lesbian any more than her other children chose to be heterosexual. She spoke of, for many parents, when she said, no parent should have to be concerned for their children's welfare just because of who they love. It's about a lifelong North Dakota resident mother of 3 who's a lesbian living with her partner. She's been fired because she's a lesbian, and she writes, my life with my partner is really not much different than yours. We take the kids to school, go to work, pay our bills, and do what we can for our neighbors. We struggle to raise our kids to be upstanding citizens. We have no security in knowing that if people knew about us, and it gets back to the co-workers and bosses, that we could be handed a pink slip and told to go home. Finally, Mr. President, this is about our sons, our daughters, our brothers, our sisters. It's about people we work with. It's about the people who sit next to us in the pews. And in closing, I'd like to leave you with a quote I used from Martin Luther King earlier in the session when he says, the time is always right to do what is right. And I urge this body to do what's right today and adopt Senate Bill 2278 as amended. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, the question is on the final passage of Senate Bill 2278. The Secretary will open the key, and each senator will record his or her vote. Have all the senators voted? Does any senator wish to change their vote? Secretary will close the key and take the tally. Final tally on Senate Bill 2278 reveals 27 aye, 19 nay. The bill is passed and the title agreed to.